So today I'm feeling really excited. At first I was nervous, but I overcame that by actually thinking that this ain't that bad. I can overcome my fear of being shy. And that's what zBridge has actually helped me today. And through this whole program, it's helped me come from out of my turtle shell. And today we did really good. And we're actually gonna keep doing this in the future. So I think it's a good experience for other kids to do. I learned that in the past couple weeks, I've become better with myself in that overcoming over myself, becoming better, it actually makes me think that I'm becoming a better person. I've had a terrible childhood, but I can overcome that. That's what this zBridge has helped me, is overcome and inhale the future and exhale the past is what I live by. And that's what it's helped me to more focus on, is the future, not the past. Focus on present and the future goals. I think because of Alpha Omega, we can actually succeed and reduce the sex trafficking. Like, people have seen the Humane Society commercials, and it's actually reduced in abused dogs. So we can do the same by sex trafficking. We can help reduce that and not see that many people getting into homeless shelters because they've been abused, or into pimps and out of other places. Because mostly it starts off as they're homeless and they get picked up and they get everywhere around the world, and maybe you never know what's going to happen to them. You'll see them one moment, they're gone the next. What I want them to know about human trafficking in Reading is that there's people that are scared to talk about themselves, about their being trafficked or being raped or anything like that. And we want them to have a voice that they can reach out to us and they can get help. Just with the black dot or our billboards or posters, bracelets, t-shirts, that they can get help. So that's what our main our focus was, and we're continuing to help them.
How am I feeling? I'm feeling a whole mix of emotions. Relief is one of them. Relief that the stress of having to write our own pitch is over. I've never had to do that before. But I'm also excited that Extreme Love is willing to let me be a part of their group. And even though it's years in the future, it's still moving towards something. I hope that at the very least, we educated some people that this is an actual issue. Because like I told people, I've talked to my aunt. She had no clue homeless teens was even a thing. And the fact that an entire room was willing to sit there and listen to two teens who had no clue what they were doing was awesome. And I really hope that in the future, if one of them has a kid or knows of someone whose friends living on their couch, or just always eats dinner with them, or that they can be like, hey, I have an extra room, or hey, here's this that might be able to help you, even if it's just little things. It's big things to those kids. For Sammy, I'm hoping just people take his story and put it to their heart, because like he said, he's a second generation homeless. He was homeless since he was a kid. I'm hoping that stories like Sammy's end, and they become happy stories. To where, yeah, I was homeless when I was younger, but because of programs when I was a kid, I was able to get when I was a kid, I'm the successful person. What I would say to those kids considering to get involved in zMAD, you're gonna get a lot of no's. We got a lot of no's. But even with no matter how many no's you get and how many you can't do this or this idea is too big, you can always do something. Even if you have an idea and you start that idea, even if you don't finish it, someone else will. Because we learned the building we wanted to build, we didn't get it done. But there is another group out there who we can help support who is getting that done. So even if you can't do it, you can be a supporter of someone who can do it.
I feel like the pitch went pretty well. I feel like we got our point pretty much across to the people that were here. I mean, they definitely seem to understand it. I mean, I've had a few people walk up to me and talk to me about it, and they enjoyed it. Yeah, I feel like some of them were definitely, how should I say, nude to the idea of homeless teens. It was nice just kind of hearing how people responded to it, I guess. What would I say to Reading? I just say you don't really see all the issues that occur in Reading. You see like half of it. You don't see those homeless teens walking down the street. You don't just absolutely pick them out. You just understand that they are when they tell you. So just when you hear people that are saying that they're homeless but they don't look it, don't disregard it. Maybe they are and they just don't have anybody that believes them. There you go. With Sammy, he opened my eyes a little bit to the whole generational homeless. I mean, I don't really hear that too much. And when teens are homeless, that's a big issue, because if they're stuck in that, they're going to be in that situation for a while, obviously. And if they have children in that, or they resort to something else, it's just not good, you know? What have I learned about myself? I mean, obviously you get tense in some situations. You don't think things are gonna go the way that you would like them to go, and you know, that's just the way life is. But if there's things that you can do to make it a little bit better, do it, you know? I mean, just kind of have a little bit of faith in yourself, I guess. I hope so. I mean, I would love to see a teenage homeless center, you know? Center during the day and shelter during the night. I would love that. And if Reading did actually get that in here, that'd be amazing. If I was to come across that building, you know, in the not so near, semi-near future, I'd feel pretty good about myself. I mean, just knowing that they have that one extra resource to go to, you know? It's just nice knowing that other people have that just little piece of the ladder to climb up the rest, you know? Get back up there. Of course, but I would only recommend it to those who aren't gonna abuse it, you know? People are like that. They just go and see something that's just that little shine to it, and they just grab it and throw some dust on it and making it not work the way it used to, you know? It's like rust on an old car. I would definitely recommend zMAD to others. Like, it's just, you can't abuse it. You can't just go into it expecting that you're gonna be able to milk everything out of it. I mean, you want to be able to build relationships through it. You don't want to diminish them.
Now that zMAD's over, I'm really honored to work with these kids. They were amazing. I came in with ideas and oh, well, this would be really cool if they go in this direction, and they took the bit in the teeth and they ran in ways that I never even thought of. I saw some amazing growth. The growth with the kids, we had students that wouldn't normally say much stepping up and saying a lot. We had students that weren't always the most reliable. Every morning they were ready to be picked up and ready to go with smiles on their faces. It was pretty amazing to watch. I think they made a major difference. My team, as a group of really unique individuals, really came together. Their ideas were strong. For their proposal, they really tugged on some heartstrings, and it was some interesting ideas they came up to do that. As the mentor, watching their pitch, I will full out admit I was starting to cry, and actually I had to get up and leave the audience for a second because I could see the truth behind the kids' words. I could see the passion. I could see the frustration. It was interesting. I actually sat so I could watch the audience, so I could see their reaction, and it was interesting watching the nodding of the heads, the look of shock on a couple points the kids brought up. The look of questioning. I think it definitely got some minds moving in that direction of what can be done, and is this really a problem? My hopes for Reading, I've lived here for 36 years. I would love to see, instead of Band-Aids for the problems we have now, I'd love to see some true fixes for the early, before they get to that point. I'd love to see the kids' passion and their vocals heard, so maybe more people realizing that instead of just taking care of a symptom, let's fix the disease.
Well, I thought it was a great experience working with zMAD. When we went through everything, our students started to pick up pace. They started shy at first, as we saw nobody really wanted to talk to each other, like, hey, who's this guy? Hey, who's that guy? And then watching them all start coming together, like my group from Chiba, Mr. Rick's group from the Project X project. I mean, they just came together, and the things they came up with were just outstanding. I didn't think, to be honest, I was really skeptical when we started this. Now I'm a believer. The team that I originally started with, they chose to tackle prostitution in massage parlors. And then as the team started to kind of expand a little bit more, it switched over to sex trafficking with massage parlors and basically minors in sex trafficking. So that's the one they wanted to go with. Well, I kind of learned, I think I hang out with our kids too much. I understood where they were coming from, and as we were talking and started talking to other people, we didn't realize they didn't know that this was going on. So it was a shock to me and kind of a real mind opener. Hey, awareness is obviously needed in this, and if it wasn't for the kids, I would have just assumed that everybody knew this. We just weren't doing anything about it. The growth that I saw, especially since I've been working at California Heritage Youth Build Academy for 3 years now, is their ability to talk out in public like that. There's 2 students there, I didn't think it was even going to be possible to get them getting in public speaking. Not only were they able to talk to the public, they were actually able to express their ideas to the public, which just was amazing, because these students, both of them, suffer greatly from high anxiety themselves, and let alone, they don't even want to talk in front of the classroom, let alone a group of strangers. It was actually phenomenal. I know for a fact folks listened to that. I mean, how could you not listen to it? The kids were very passionate about what they were talking about. Like, they knew what was going on, and I honestly think some of our kids have actually been in some of those footsteps. So when you actually see a student be in those footsteps, talk about what's going on in the community, talk about what they've done from the heart, it's really hard not to listen to them. Well, what I hope to see is that we have trained 3 leaders in the zMAD community right now to bring to Chiba to introduce to our students there, to hopefully pique more interest in our school and work with the community members and build a curriculum around it. And hopefully this would spread from school to school to school.